So it is 4:30. I'll call the meeting to order. I'm going to stand and do the Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So I will do roll call. Angie Schreiber.
Here.
Catherine Solon.
Here.
Myself. And for the record, Danny is also with us, and our superintendent, Glenda Hodzinski. So the only thing on this agenda, it seems a bit short and sweet, and it is, but I thought it would be a good idea for the Personnel Policy Committee to meet and really get an update on all of the transfers.
Hold 1 second. You need to get public comment, see if there was anybody signed in, just in case.
Oh, is there anybody signed in, Angie? I guess not.
No. That's all right.
That's okay. I didn't realize that we did public comment at committee though.
Yeah.
Is that always?
Mm-hmm.
And this won't open. Just stuck. Okay. So moving on, I thought it would be a good idea to get an update on all of the personnel changes going on in the district. And I know there's a lot, but several concerns. I feel like it's critical that the board is aware of that going into the new school year and so on and so forth. So if you can just give us an update on what's happening and what has happened, what new contracts are pending, what's vacant, the whole 9 yards.
So I know right now our current biggest need is with staffing for teachers with special ed licensure, and there are, I feel like there's 1 or 2 vacant at the high school. There are 2 ELA positions vacant at the high school and 1 math at the high school. And then there are still a couple of special ed positions vacant at the elementaries as well.
Can you say those numbers again? I'm sorry.
2 ELA at the high school, 1 math. I feel like there's 1 or 2 sped at the high school as well. And I know there's at least 1 special ed position at North and 1 at West that still have not been filled. Along with there are some instructional assistant positions that also have not been filled, but I'm told that it is pretty common that closer to school start that people will then start applying for those positions, that maybe they've held those positions in the past and they have summer jobs, and then once those end, that they seek that kind of employment.
You're talking the IAs?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, gotcha.
Interesting that in my job, I do a lot of work with the tech school, and there is now, I didn't know this, I feel like this is new, there is now a associate's degree for a paraprofessional instructional aide. I don't know what the title is, but anyways, I thought that was interesting. It's a 2-year degree in education.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Well, and an interesting thing for that too to note is that any of our schools that are school-wide title, if they're working with those students, they have to be what's considered a highly qualified paraprofessional, which means they have to have 2 years post-secondary education, some additional training. So that's good to know that.
mm-hmm.
Or they have an assessment that they have to take and pass.
Mm-hmm.
So if somebody goes to school, gets a 2-year degree, can they come in and work? Because you were just saying that they need 2 years beyond that. Am I understanding that correctly?
Well, 2 years beyond high school. They have to have 2 years
gotcha.
beyond high school, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right, okay, and I get it. Okay.
Yeah.
This is really keyed to education though, so it's pretty interesting. I had never heard of this. I'm just trying to find the name of it. You can keep talking about staffing.
And then we have, I spoke with Katie Ann a little bit. I have several of our hires placed on the spreadsheet, but we don't have all of the information. But it seems that since the last time, well, for one thing, district office staffing, both of our directors, well, all 3 of our directors now have been hired. So we have a new business manager, Kelly Fossbender, our new director of people services and special education, Colleen Burkon, and our new director of instruction, Amy Stutzring.
Say her last name, I've been trying.
Stutzring.
Stutzring, okay. It's easier than what I thought.
Yeah, Stutzring.
Please tell her I'm sorry for butchering her name.
She's used to it.
And what are the start dates of all of those positions?
So all of the directors have started, like, almost immediately after they were able to resign from
Work.
current positions
Right.
and to begin work. Like, we've shored up everything with our business director, and she was able to start today, which was phenomenal. So most of them have been a pretty quick turnaround, which has been a benefit for me, for sure.
Right.
We have the board admin assistant and my admin assistant will begin, I think her first half day is on August 17th. So she'll be transitioning for a couple of weeks from her current position. Really excited about that because she also used to work for Skyward. So she'll be able to help us. And meeting with Katie Ann and Kelly Fosbender today, I found out that there is another side of Skyward that we're getting ready to move to. So having someone with that inside information into a company will be beneficial, and it's supposed to be more user-friendly. Thank goodness.
What's her name?
Her name is Michelle Zaromsky. She's from the Wittenberg area, I believe. And then there's been some transfers. We have a new admin assistant transfer from the middle school to the Director of Pupil Services admin assistant.
And wait, that's Carla?
Carla,
Going
mhm.
to the central office?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so is that admin assistant at the middle school open then?
I believe it has since been filled already, if I'm not mistaken.
Wow.
Don't quote me on that, but I think so. Just because, you know, in kindness, no one would interview someone without having a conversation between building principals. So, you know, in meeting with Heather, she thought that there might be someone that might be interested if that were the case. And then
Was that an internal candidate?
I can't remember if that person was internal. I feel like
Okay,
yes, but in a
okay.
different capacity,
I see.
I think.
Okay.
And then Janet Krivishine went from the high school to the Director of Instruction Admin Assistant. So she'll be inputting information into WISE data, which is important because that directly impacts our funding.
Hold on.
Where did Janet go?
To central office, and she's now the admin assistant for Amy Stutzer, the Director of Curriculum and Instruction.
Okay, that's a super big move
It
because
is.
she is a key component to the high school office.
Yes. And so Erin Wick will be going from central office.
See what I wanted an update on all of this? Okay, so Erin Wick.
Uh-huh. Will be going from central office to the high school into Janet's position.
She'll be good there. She's very organized and very
Yep.
capable of that responsibility, but that is a lot.
So now we have some open positions at central office that have to be filled.
So it is still.
But people are staying in their positions, like we met with all the admin assistants that were doing all the shuffling around, and we have a plan in place to make sure that everything is covered for those first couple of weeks for transportation with bus company.
Right.
And when kids are back in the buildings and helping our families to make sure all enrollment processes are taken care of so for the first 2 weeks, everybody's kind of staying status quo on those things until they can free up some time, and Erin will start coming over during the day after the first couple hours in the morning when it slows down to start transitioning.
What was Erin's role at Central?
She was half-time administration assistant for Jake with technology, or with transportation and buildings, and
Finance?
part-time with Katie Ann with finance.
Yeah, she kind of split that.
So
Plus,
that is open, that position is still open?
Correct. That position is open.
and accounts payable. She also did accounts payable.
Okay.
So I would guess that that would maybe go back to Lori, and, you know, how did those girls feel when you spoke with them about?
Well, we didn't get to do that.
Okay,
Some called in. So,
Okay.
and Lori's been
Okay,
for like,
okay, so, and Tanya is about to have a baby, isn't she? So there's a lot going on at Central. That's everyday stuff, paying bills, running payroll,
Right.
that's concerning.
right. And Aaron is kind of the backup for running payroll, if that is a necessary means. But I had talked with Jake today, and he had spoken with Tanya about how she felt about things, and she felt like it would be okay that she would still be able to run payroll without any issues.
Well, she's out? Oh. So Andy Sheldon was a front desk at the high school, and she was gonna actually come up to this room and be like a sub-hub. She was gonna be in charge of calling all the subs in the morning. That's a big deal. And then for all of the people that are out of this building on a regular basis, when those kids don't have subs for their classrooms, they would come into here. So my guess would be that this room would probably be full all day, because I was in this building and I know there's enough people missing daily that other teachers staff that way. You know what I mean? Other
Yeah.
teachers take on a class, or else they would come in here or go to the library, or somebody picks them up on their prep time, whatever. So now Angie Sheldon is going with Anita to West. So what is happening for one, her vacant position downstairs?
Is she the new administrative assistant for West?
Yes.
Okay.
And for two, there's her spot that she was in last year downstairs. There's this spot that was created that kind of went in conjunction with the new schedule. And so that's two people that were missing, two roles that were missing in the high school building.
But she was going to be doing both next
No,
year?
she was just going to be in this room next year. So there was an opening in the high school office anyways, in her absence.
Uh-huh.
She would be in this room. But now she's not in this room either, she's going to West.
Right. So we do have a new resource that will be put into place that was purchased last year.
Okay.
That calls subs. I'm not sure everything about it. It's called Red Rover. I
Yeah.
know literally
Yeah.
zero. We're gonna try to get some training because Katie Ann was gonna do the training for opening day so that all staff had that consistent training to know how to use the system. So we've got to figure out how to get trained and then provide training. But we're going to do that building by building so that there's a smaller group of people together to get
So
that
for the
learning.
training for this Red Rover, as a teacher, do they have to find that sub, or is it the building administrator finding that sub?
That's a good
I
question.
mean, for example, we have Mr. Lewandowski here. If he's going to be off one day, does he have to call this Red Rover? Is that what Katie Ann was going to train all the staff to do on their own? I feel like that's tough for the staff to do, because who do they know to call, and
No.
that's an
Yeah.
extra
Well,
thing that.
sometimes it's twofold. Sometimes people have like their favorite sub that they want.
This is
And
true.
they'll call them and make prior arrangements. But it's my understanding that this Red Rover is similar to ASOP is what people used to use, which is part of my learning plan, which is the educator effectiveness. And they would put the information in, and it was like an automatic dialer to
Right.
call anyone who was available.
Right.
But then I don't know what the follow-up is
See, that's-
after that.
right.
When no one takes the position.
So that's what Angie was
Okay.
doing.
So I can ask Mr. Rogers because I'm not sure. I didn't realize that she would be doing the supervision here. But do you have any idea what other part of her position, what the backup was for that
Downstairs?
prior to that?
I don't know,
Okay.
because we have Molly Gums in the high school office, and Tina Verhagen will go back there.
Right.
They both have, they both have their own full
Attendance,
workload,
yeah.
you know what I mean? I'm sure that they'll be helping, but
Right.
it's still a body missing. And just the traffic flow in the high school office with students and parents, there needs to be 3 people there for sure.
Yeah.
Pete, did you have something to add about the,
I
yeah.
looked at the review to Red Rover,
yeah,
and it looks almost exactly the same as ASOP.
That's all.
So as a teacher, if I were gonna be gone and I knew ahead of time, I'd put it in there. Clint would approve it, and then Angie would find the sub, the automated caller would send out the message. If somebody grabbed it, then Angie would mark it off.
She finishes it, okay.
Okay, so it's not the teacher calling to
It's
make that.
not- it
I
doesn't require
gotcha.
me,
And what happens if you're just sick?
if,
Like one day you're not feeling good and at 3 in the morning you call and say,
3 in the
I'm,
morning, I would go into ASOP. If you were sick after 6, then you'd have to call Angie, and then she would start beating the bushes. But otherwise, yeah, before 6, we just put it in ASOP,
That-
it would automatically go out, or she would come in the morning and scramble.
Yeah.
find
I know
something.
Amy, I can't remember her name. The gal that was here before Angie.
So it's-
Yeah, she did that too. But it's crazy because when you have a lot of sick people, or in the middle of winter when there's a lot of sick people out, you're hurrying up and trying to find, 10 or 20 people in for one day between 6 a.m. and 7:30 before the day starts. So it's,
Yeah, when I was
that's,
a sub, I would always get the call at like 7:15.
can you be here in 15 minutes?
Yeah, pretty
Right,
much.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah, so,
Legislation was just passed where school board members can volunteer to drive school buses for school-owned district buses. They should further that legislation for school board members to be able to sub voluntarily, because we can't get paid in the district as well, because we have board members that could potentially do that on an as-needed basis.
so do they still have to have a CDL?
Yes, you still have to have all the requirements to drive a school bus, the S
So-
endorsement, P endorsement, the CDL requirement.
Okay.
But apparently there must be a lot of board members across the state that has that requirement that can't drive. Now, these would be for school-owned buses, like in our instance, we could do it for pay as school board members because we
Don't-
charter.
right.
Not charter, contract the buses out to Maliette, so we're not paid from the district, we're paid from Maliette.
Right.
But we would just have to, in that instance, whoever would do that would have to refrain from anything board-related to school bus issues.
Sure.
But
Interesting.
I think they should continue that legislation for the board members to be able to help, because there's a shortage of subs everywhere
Yes,
throughout
there
the
is.
state,
Everywhere.
not just here.
Yep.
There
Right.
absolutely is.
If you was a substitute teacher within our county with 3 schools, you could be subbing every day. Right, probably? Within Oklahoma, White Lake here, you can be subbing every day.
Well, and hence why we have those, we have the full-time sub positions are still open at the elementary. I think we have 2 of those that have never been filled. Teaching positions are hard to come by, and it's not just us, it's everywhere.
Right.
Yeah.
Wausau, I think they had like 12 or 13 still vacant.
So I feel like there's no harm in doing everything we can effort-wise to find people to fill those positions and/or to sub. So I think we should have that on our Facebook page, our own ad. Let's get that to social media and just run it. You can tell them. I remember when I worked with Social Media EDU, I can't remember the gal's name, but she would, I would say, run,
Denise?
what is it?
Denise? Andrea?
Andrea. You might be right, I don't know.
I don't know why those 2 names are running in my
Just
head.
random names, Scott just, Laura? No, it might be
No, I
Andrea.
met her at the conference one year. That's why I'm thinking,
Shelley.
yeah, Shelley.
Something that's.
Is it Shelley?
Isn't it
Andrea?
Shelley?
I don't know.
I don't know.
But anyways,
Sim is
we
her
could,
last name.
we could tell her, we can just say, run it every other day, or every 4 hours, or whatever. You can just get it out there.
Speaking of that, okay, so I saw that there was, one of our maintenance guys at the middle school put out on his personal page that, the hiring.
Custodians, yeah,
Yep.
I saw that too.
Yep, and the link went to weekend.
Yep.
And is that the only place that we're looking? Because that's like, we're missing a huge group of people if that's the only place that we're advertising.
Especially for housekeeping and custodian.
And
like
subs.
Right.
Yeah, and teachers, why not?
If you don't know to go, like, your
Yeah.
average
Yeah.
Joe wouldn't know to
If you
go
don't
to
know.
Don't have a
weekend.
weekend
However,
Yeah.
instead
a
of-
teacher, a
Teacher would
certified
know.
teacher would know, that's where they go
Right.
just a weekend.
But
Right.
any
But
other
your
position.
sub,
But
your housekeepers,
custodial.
your custodian,
Somebody
your
else might
support
see it
staff.
on that platform and send it to somebody that they know is
Yeah.
looking. You know what I'm saying?
Let's,
Just-
if we could do some advertising, for especially for support staff, I mean, you can do it however you want, but your HR person should be doing that.
Well, the Donovan Group can do that work, because that's communicating the needs of the district, and that's what we pay them to do.
We need some advertising out there. It could even go on radio.
Where, newspaper? Does the district?
I think the newspaper is probably the bottom of the advertising in today's world.
Okay.
I would say Facebook.
Facebook and
social
our
media.
website, and our website, like,
There's,
have them do a little, you know,
Instagram.
Yeah, Instagram.
blinking
30
thing in
second,
the
yeah.
corner of, when you open the district webpage or something. Staffing and the link, and then, you know what I mean?
Create one of those really annoying pop-ups that just keep.
Yeah.
and go information Facebook
Any
page.
information, that would be a
Yeah.
good spot.
Oh,
There's,
that's a good one.
there's a lot of people on that one.
Go information.
Yeah, it's a Facebook page. By the way, the program at NTC is called Foundations of Teacher Education.
Oh, really?
Yep, a very interesting variety of classes for an associate's degree. Foundations of Teacher Education. I love that. It's got to be new.
We should throw that at some of our
Right.
juniors and seniors, that they could take those classes.
Well, I was just gonna ask, is there any way that the district could help if somebody wanted to do that and stay in Antigo? Is there any way that we could offer an incentive? The school district could offer an incentive? We'll help
Well,
pay
we would
for it?
have to, we would have to come
Yeah.
to the board. The board would have to make that decision that we would pay X amount of dollars for their schooling. Because we do that for administration, it's in their contracts. And we can do the same thing for others as the board allows and as the finances allow.
I do know that it's like the street sweeper coming
Yeah.
by. I'm like, they go down my block. I'm like, my street is clean because that sucker is going down my block every couple days. I'm like, I thought that was a twice a year thing.
They wouldn't have to keep coming
I
down the street.
know, I'm like, maybe so, right? I thought that was like spring and fall. It is, here comes the street sweeper, he's going 1 mile an hour, getting here for a half hour. So, intro to education practices, technology and ed, intermediate algebra reps, psychology, written comm. So there's some basic gen eds mixed in. Techniques in reading, behavior management, child and adolescent development. It's just a really interesting
Do you have a
mix of.
contact at NTC? that
I
you
do,
know?
for sure.
Why, couldn't we also contact them and say, when you have students in this class, refer them to us?
Yeah, I'm gonna talk to them. I'm there tomorrow, so.
That would be
Yeah, that's a good
something.
idea.
Isn't it where if we have a student that's still in high school and they take classes through NTC, is school district pays for that, correct? Or is that only certain classes?
I think it's certain,
Like, is that one's like we don't offer
yeah,
or something?
Mr. Rogers would may be able to help answer that question.
It's a dual credit
Is this
class.
dual
Dual
credit?
credit.
Maybe Pete knows how that
Usually
works.
parents.
Pete, do you know how that works?
Is it just certain dual credit courses?
I believe it's things that we don't offer here, that students can take through the youth option program through the state.
Yeah. So if it's a youth option that's there through the state, we can pay for it through that without having board, an
And they get,
board approval.
they get college credit for it, correct? Okay.
That's my understanding is, and
Yeah.
I think it depends on the university that you take or the school that you take through.
For example, we have
Well,
students that go through for the CNA program, and I think last year, year before last, we had a lot of students that went through for welding. That was a big thing a couple of years ago, I believe.
It's a dual credit
Yes,
program, I don't know,
yeah.
I guess we probably need some clarity on.
I mean,
Yeah,
NTC's
not-
right here, we can tap
Classes
into it.
transfer to universities,
Right.
that's the biggest thing. Like Nicolay College actually is the highest transfer rate of their classes in the entire technical college.
To the
State.
UW system.
Those
or-
classes moving into EW system?
Yep.
Interesting too. Yeah. Okay, so, vacancies then, the sub-program,
Can you maybe just go per school?
Are there any other
Like,
main vacancies, major
yeah,
vacancies?
the
Is that
high
what you're
school,
asking?
the middle school, and then the elementary system, like,
What, before you go down that road, what about HR? Has that position been filled yet?
Have we had any applicants come in for HR?
And we've had interviews,
Just no acceptance,
no offers.
no offers. Okay.
There is something posted on here that I'm a little surprised at, library media specialist, which I thought was Abby Maddock.
Is that current or is it closed?
Well, it sure.
Are you on
weekend?
They can't see
Well-
it, can you?
I didn't think so.
Are you on weekend?
Yeah,
Okay.
but these dates are all 2022.
So I think those are probably the ones that are closed.
So those are, must be old ones.
Yeah.
That's weird, isn't it?
That is weird that you should be able to even see a
They all come
2022
up.
posting.
This is all old.
Well, filter your time span. You,
How do you do that?
right here. Can you click on that?
Oh,
Yeah, so that's bringing everything up from the last 5 years.
okay. I just want to see what's here. Then it says nothing.
Nothing.
How do you log in there? Is it applicant employer login?
I think so.
I would be there.
Mine just came up because I've been there all the time. But when I hit Anigo in the last 3 months, there's nothing. And there's nothing in the last year. Oh, this is my applications. Yeah, dang. How do you look at everything?
That, I'm not sure.
Search.
Maybe up down the top. Open
Okay.
vacancies.
Looks better. And you can search by CISA and by school district. I got it.
What is cross-categorical special ed teacher? What is
So
that?
a cross-categorical means that you're more than just a learning disabled teacher, that you could teach cognitively disabled students as well as students with autism or just a variety of identifications.
Okay.
It makes you more fluid with your employability.
So then, as a follow-up to the staffing, and I feel like this is okay at a committee level to discuss, we talked a little bit last month about exit interviews and why I didn't have that on as a separate line item on the agenda. I feel like that falls under personnel, and what I did have on the agenda was personnel update. So what are your feelings, Glenda, on the exit interview process? Were you at the last meeting about that, or were you not on board yet? Okay, so we discussed, and it's very brief in the minutes, that we paid a company, I believe it's $35 per exit.
I think you're correct on that.
Okay, so I just don't know that having an outside firm conduct an exit interview serves us any benefit at all. I feel like the leadership team and the HR and admin and maybe a school principal, those people need to know why somebody leaves, and especially you and the board sometimes, and, if it's appropriate or whatever. But I feel like, as a committee, I would like to see it come forward that we're not conducting an outside interview with another firm. I feel like that should be an in-house thing to understand why we're losing staff and really get a handle on why staff leaves.
Yeah, we were reviewing the budget today, and.
I mean, it's not a significant amount of money, I know that, but it's not serving as any
But still, it's an added
purpose.
cost when we could do a Google survey that people could complete.
Or the opportunity for that person to sit down with whomever
Face to face.
they choose and say, these are the things that are going on in my building and this is why I'm leaving. And then, the board or your team hears that a handful of times, then there's something happening that needs to be addressed, but.
Common denominators.
Right, right. So, I guess I just wanted to know how the rest of the committee and yourself feels about the exit interview process.
I've been in other districts where that was exactly the way it was handled, was through either a Google survey or they had the option of sitting down with someone to review the exit interview questions. So it was still the same standard set of questions. so that you weren't asking different things from different people, and,
Right.
and then shared out. You know, if there were, like when I was still in the building as principal, if there was like anything that was shared out as a negative toward the building or something, then my HR person connected with me and said, hey, you know, I heard something about the RTI process. Can you
How do we
explain more
follow
about
up with
that?
this?
Yeah.
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 It's concerning when we have staff that's been here for 20-plus years and they just say, see you later, I'm out of here, and I'm not saying a word. Something's wrong, you know what I mean? So that's concerning to me.
I agree.
Do you, Catherine or Angie, have any questions or input on the exit interview?
I think they're necessary.
Yeah. I have
But
some-
in-house?
Yes. Yeah, there's no reason why we should be paying somebody outside the
Okay.
district to be doing it.
Right.
Okay.
And I think that the board should see all of them, not just some, because otherwise how do you identify patterns and, you know, issues at any certain location if it's bits and pieces here and there, you know? Yeah, so I think that we should see all of them so that we know what's going on.
So what would be the
Have a sense
process
of-
with that, like an
I was
exit?
just looking for, I just pulled up to see if we have in our policies about exit interviews and what that policy reads about exit interviews.
Yeah, how does it read exactly? If
That's
you
what
can
I'm
find it.
looking for.
Okay.
Because if we don't have a policy about exit interviews, then this committee can make a recommendation to the board, either at this board meeting or September board meeting, and we can create a policy for this.
I think it's out there.
I'm not finding anything coming up. Maybe if somebody with the computer, I may not be hitting the right buttons
Yeah,
here.
hang
on
on.
the phone.
I'm pretty sure that this is in here somewhere.
The only thing that's coming up is the non-discrimination and access to equal educational opportunity for exit interviews. That was my keywords that I put in.
Under personnel?
Under
Oh, that's what I
the
have.
2000 program, 2000 numbers, so that
Okay,
would be
hang on.
administration.
Well, let's look under, also, I'm going to put in termination because maybe it would be in there.
You would think that if you just put exit interviews, it would show up.
Yeah.
Pete, if you want to help look too, you can.
My computer is not cooperating tonight for some reason.
Right, I feel like I've read about that, Danny, somewhere in here.
I mean, at this point, what you could do as a committee level is have the admin, Linda's team, to research the policies, to find information in the policies about exit interviews and make a report back next month to this committee. And then at that point, this committee can send something for board approval in the September board meeting. That could be a process.
Okay, I don't want to take a lot of time looking.
Yeah,
I
that's
feel
what I
like it is out there, but I can look when I'm,
And if anybody, if you know one of you finds any information, just
Yeah.
forward it up to Glenda so she can look, you know.
how do you feel about that, committee members, that we should do the research and make a recommendation to the board that says we're not going, okay.
Nope, I agree.
Okay, are you clear on that? Do you know what, okay.
So I will also check to see if we have any kind of contract or anything with this group that
Yes.
has
See what
been
that
doing
language looks like, yeah.
the exit interviews and see, because I don't know.
Wouldn't that be in the employee handbook, not in our policy?
It might be
Maybe.
Could
Angie.
be.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, I can do some looking on that too, Glenda. I know you have a lot going on.
Just a little.
Okay, so, other than that, I just want to check one thing quick. I can type up these notes for minutes that I have. It's not anything too major. Okay. And then, what else did I say we were gonna talk about?
Just that, the detailed update.
Resignations, new hires, internal transfers, and current vacancies, and exit interviews. So is there anything else that you ladies had questions on?
You have to deal with personnel issues, because that's what's posted on the agenda.
Right. Do you ladies have any other personnel issues to talk about?
I have one question.
Just to be
So,
clear.
when you go to our website and you go to employment openings,
Yeah.
behavior strategist is listed under the high school for both certified and non-certified openings. So is that 2 positions or 1?
Behavior,
Strategist.
I believe that was
It's just 1 because he went to.
Jerry Wilhelms?
Scott Sigmund,
Yeah, 'cause
Oh,
he went to.
so be just,
the dean of student.
Yeah, he went to Dean of Student.
oh, that was another move. Yeah, so what was his name? Scott?
Scott.
Siegman.
Sigmund.
And he went to Matt's position?
Yeah, dean of students.
Where did Matt go?
To
Yeah,
the,
so-
Assistant principal.
Okay. So he took Anita's position. Okay.
Yes, yes.
So it's just one of that. What was actually Jerry's title? Behavior
I
interventionist.
think it was the same title.
No, because he didn't have a degree on that.
Okay.
Versus Scott has the actual, like, how many years, I don't know, 4 years.
Okay.
Was the 3140 day to see if it was in there, non-renewal resignation and
But, so we have
termination?
1
Oh.
behavior strategist
Um,
position.
I was actually
Yeah.
perusing the
So that's
employee
certified or not?
handbook right now.
Because it's on both.
I'll look at it.
It's under both?
Yeah.
So, Glenda, did Katie Ann, is she the person that made those postings on weekend?
I believe so, but I believe both she and Tina, because Tina's been helping us out
Okay,
some
so
part-time.
we're saying that that behavior,
That's on our website. I'm not on weekend, I don't know how to get into weekend. So that's on our website if you go under employment
okay,
opportunities.
so then that's Dustin, but Tina or somebody's giving Dustin that direction.
Okay.
Now we got the,
You get it started, Pete?
is that the lawnmower?
Yeah, really, that's what it sounds like.
The street sweeper's coming back. Okay.
So there is a behavior strategist posted on weekend
Right, but we're saying,
as support staff, and let me see about certified staff.
so that needs to
And
be,
it's posted under certified. So I wonder if it's posted that way so that people are aware that you don't necessarily have to be a licensed teacher to
Okay, so
have
like
this
Jerry
position.
was.
I don't know, but can you ask Katie Ann about how she did that?
Okay.
So if there's nothing else related to personnel issues, I feel like we are ready to adjourn. Is that a motion or not?
So at next month's policy committee, we're gonna look at drafting or looking at having the draft ready and then going over it as committee?
For exit interviews?
Yeah. Or are we still gonna leave it in the employee handbook?
I will look at it between now and then and get something figured out. I can help, we can draft that, and so it's ready, so we don't have to do it another
Yeah.
month.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
and then it's,
We know what we want, I'll have something ready, and then we can take it to the board, which would be the September board meeting.
okay, and are we looking at that other, I think there was one, possibly 2 more policies that had to come back?
That'll have to come back, because I can't really discuss that
Yeah.
right now.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
anything else that was presented will have to come back to another future committee meeting.
okay.
So we want to,
But are we looking at that at the September meeting, or is it gonna be later?
Remind me of when the meeting's over, you have to remind me of what those are, remind
we're
Bobby
going to try to
as the
get those
chairman.
back on the
Yeah.
agenda.
Okay, yeah,
I know what you're talking about.
yeah. But not 6 months from now, hopefully.
Well, I hope
Yeah,
not.
I don't
Okay.
push it off that long.
Yeah.
Okay, so can I make a motion to adjourn, or does that have to come from?
You or anybody on your committee?
Okay, I'll make a motion to adjourn at 5:11 PM.
Record time.